Here's something they'll never admit. The person who makes you feel the most alive might be the most dangerous one you'll ever meet. Not because they're evil, but because they've mastered a psychological trick so powerful, it turns your own brain chemistry against you. The most intense attraction you've ever felt? It wasn't love at first sight. It was calculated emotional engineering, and you never saw it coming. Today, I'm going to reveal the dark psychology of push-pull dynamics, the science of emotional addiction, and how to spot a manipulator before they trap you in their web. What you're about to learn will make you question every intense connection you've ever experienced. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Your brain can't tell the difference between love and addiction. Neuroscientists have discovered that the same regions that light up when someone uses cocaine also activate when you're falling hard for someone. But here's where it gets twisted. Normal, healthy attraction creates a steady release of dopamine and oxytocin. Manipulative attraction, however, creates something far more powerful: intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes gambling addictive, and when applied to relationships, it's absolutely devastating. The push-pull dynamic isn't just emotionally confusing, it's neurologically designed to keep you hooked. Imagine this scenario. Someone gives you incredible attention for 3 days. They text you constantly, make you feel like the center of their universe, tell you things they've never told anyone before. Your brain floods with dopamine, creating an emotional high. Then suddenly, they disappear. No explanation, just silence. Your brain, now dependent on that dopamine hit, goes into panic mode. You check your phone obsessively, replay every conversation, wonder what you did wrong. Then, just when you're about to give up, they return with a perfectly crafted excuse and more intensity than before. Congratulations, you've just experienced the first cycle of emotional addiction. And it only gets worse from here. The psychology behind this is devastatingly simple. When rewards come predictably, your brain adapts and the excitement fades. But when rewards are random and unpredictable, your brain never adapts. It stays in a heightened state of anticipation, always chasing that next hit. This is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it's the most powerful behavior modification tool in psychology. Casinos built empires on it. Social media platforms engineered addiction with it. And emotional manipulators, whether consciously or unconsciously, weaponize it in relationships. The pull makes you feel euphoric. The push makes you desperate. Together, they create a cycle you can't escape without understanding the game. Here's the first red flag that should make your alarm bells scream. Love bombing followed by sudden withdrawal. In the beginning, they're everything you ever wanted. They mirror your values, finish your sentences, claim your soulmates after 2 weeks. This isn't genuine connection, it's strategic overwhelming. They're creating an artificially intense bond so quickly that your logical brain doesn't have time to assess reality. Then comes the withdrawal. They become distant, critical, or mysteriously busy. Your brain, already hooked on the intensity, interprets this as a problem you need to solve. You start working harder, compromising more, accepting less. You don't realize you're being trained like a lab rat pressing a lever for inconsistent rewards. The second sign is strategic vulnerability. Master manipulators know that nothing bonds people faster than shared secrets and emotional intimacy. So they'll reveal something deeply personal early on, maybe even shed tears, creating a false sense of closeness. You feel special, chosen, trusted with their hidden pain. But here's the manipulation. They're not actually being vulnerable. They're testing your empathy and establishing themselves as someone who needs your care. Real vulnerability develops gradually in healthy relationships. Weaponized vulnerability comes fast and heavy, designed to trigger your nurturing instincts and make you feel responsible for their emotional well-being. It's a trap disguised as trust. Red flag number 3 is the most insidious. They make you feel unstable while they remain calm. Gaslighting gets talked about a lot, but the push-pull version is more subtle. They'll create emotional chaos, then act confused about why you're upset. They'll be hot one day and cold the next, then ask why you're being so insecure about it. They rewrite recent history, making you doubt your memory of events. The goal isn't just to confuse you, it's to make you dependent on their version of reality. When you constantly feel off balance, you start looking to them for stability, even though they're the ones creating the instability. It's psychological warfare disguised as a relationship. Now let's talk about the comparison trap, red flag number 4. They'll frequently mention exes, other admirers, or people who want their attention. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's obvious, but the message is always the same. You're in competition. This triggers your insecurity and makes you try harder to prove your worth. It also activates loss aversion, the psychological principle that we fear losing something more than we value gaining it. By making you feel like they have options, they make themselves seem more valuable and you seem more replaceable. Healthy partners make you feel secure and chosen. Manipulators make you feel like you're constantly auditioning for a role you've already been cast in. Here's where it gets really dark, the trauma bond. After enough push-pull cycles, your nervous system becomes conditioned to the chaos. The highs feel higher because the lows are so devastating. The relief of reconciliation becomes addictive because the pain of separation was so intense. You're no longer in love with the person, you're addicted to the cycle itself. Your body starts producing stress hormones during the push phase and feel-good chemicals during the pull phase, creating a biochemical addiction stronger than rational thought. Survivors of these relationships often say the hardest part wasn't leaving, it was staying away. Because your brain, rewired by intermittent reinforcement, literally craves the chaos. So how do you break free from this psychological trap? First, recognize that intensity is not the same as intimacy. Real love builds gradually, like a house with a solid foundation. Manipulative attraction feels like a fireworks show, spectacular and explosive, but it burns out fast and leaves you in darkness. Second, trust patterns over promises. Anyone can say beautiful things, but consistent behavior over time reveals true character. If someone's actions don't match their words, believe the actions. Third, maintain your independence. Manipulators isolate you from friends, hobbies, and your sense of self. A healthy partner encourages your growth and connections outside the relationship. The antidote to push-pull manipulation is something called secure attachment. This is when someone's presence in your life is consistent, their communication is clear, and their behavior is predictable in a comforting way. There's no guessing games, no emotional whiplash, no anxiety between texts. It might feel boring at first if you're used to chaos, because your brain has been conditioned to associate drama with passion. But here's the secret they don't tell you. Peace is not the absence of excitement. It's the foundation that allows genuine excitement to thrive. When you're not constantly in survival mode, you can actually experience real intimacy, creativity, and joy. Calm is not boring. Calm is revolutionary. If you're currently in a push-pull dynamic, ask yourself these questions. Do I feel more anxious than happy in this relationship? Am I constantly trying to prove my worth? Do I feel like I'm walking on eggshells? Has my self-esteem decreased since meeting this person? If you answered yes to any of these, you're not in love, you're in a psychological trap. Breaking free requires you to do something counterintuitive. Stop trying to win their consistent affection and start giving it to yourself. The moment you stop chasing, the spell breaks. Your brain begins to heal from the addiction. You start seeing clearly again. Here's your final truth. The most attractive thing you can be is emotionally unavailable to manipulation. When you understand these psychological games, when you can spot the patterns, when you value your peace more than intensity, you become immune to these tactics. You stop being a target. Master manipulators move on quickly when their tricks don't work, because they need someone who doesn't understand the game. The irony? The moment you stop falling for push-pull dynamics, you become genuinely attractive to healthy people. Because confidence, boundaries, and emotional intelligence are the real secrets of attraction. Now you know the game. The question is, will you keep playing, or will you walk away and find something real?